we're going to go to Southern California, check in with our good buddy Dan Wooding. He heads up Assist News, and let me encourage you to go assistnews.net and sign up for his emails that come out, multiple on a daily basis, giving you an update of what's happening with the persecuted church around the world. That is assistnews.net. Hey, buddy, good to see you. How you doing this morning?
Doing great, thank you. Yeah, my son and grandson left back for England, so we just had a wonderful 2 weeks with them, all going to all the theme parks, and Norma and myself are back to normal again.
Well, great. Nothing like having them around. Well, listen, speaking of Britain, what's going on with the anti-terror laws there and the scrutiny now following a conviction?
Well, the British Secret Service have desperately been trying to nail a Muslim hate preacher called Anjem Choudary. For 20 years now, he's been involved in terrorism links. Because he's an attorney, he was able to just about slide by the law, but now he went and slipped up and he posted something on one of his social media websites praising ISIS, and the police nailed him. And apparently he had links to 500 British jihadists fighting with Islamic State in Syria. He's 49. He spent 2 decades radicalizing a generation of would-be terrorists, and he was convicted after swearing an oath of allegiance to IS. He was a man that had called for Sharia law in Great Britain, had also called for the Queen to wear a burqa. That would be something, wouldn't it? But now the British Pakistani Christian Association wonders if the UK is prepared for a backlash following this conviction. And they point out already there's problems. They talk about a man called Nisar Hussain. He was a Christian convert, and his family, and he and his family have suffered long waves of prolonged and extreme abuse over 15 years in Bradford. Last year, he was coming out of his home. A group of Muslims attacked him with baseball bats and very seriously injured him. And this was the price of him becoming a believer. So it's a pretty bizarre situation going on in Britain, where there are large pockets of Muslims who apparently were getting signed up for ISIS because of this man, Anjem Choudary. He's going into a prison which is looked upon as a jihadist training center, Perry, and the great worry is that he'll start training more jihadists while he's in prison.
Wow. So is this a result of the coexistence of parliamentary law and Sharia law?
Well, there isn't Sharia law officially in Britain at the moment. You know, it's British law. But he's calling for the country to adopt Sharia law. Now, I wonder if he's just thinking at the moment about just for Muslims. But he's been seen in London with a big sign. It just said Sharia for the UK. And so it looks like he would like to have that implemented. It probably is being implemented in some of the Muslim areas that we don't know about.
Wow, amazing. Well, let's switch regions and go across the world. I remember reading the story about the 7 members of the Baptist congregation and what happened to them. Give us an update, because there's a trial coming up on that, right? Yes, and it looks like 3 of them are pensioners. 2 of them are 79, and the other one is in his late 80s. He's actually 89. He's a former Soviet-era prisoner of conscience. His name is Yegor Prokhenko, and it looks like that they're going to be put on trial. These 3 pensioners, along with some of the other members of the church there in they belong to a Baptist church that meets in a home. The church was raided, Perry, by the secret police. They're now on trial and could be fined quite a lot of money. And can you imagine it? You put an 89-year-old man and 2 79-year-old people on trial for the terrible crime of having a house church meeting and going to worship the Lord. Where is this, Dan? This is in East Kazakhstan region, and it's quite a remote area. I can't pronounce the name of the town because it's too complicated. Instead of being Bend, it's something like Zaranovska. Names.
All right. Now, this trial's coming up this week. Is that correct?
Yes, it's going to be on Thursday, August the 25th. A judge is going to decide whether to fine the 7 members of this Baptist congregation for meeting for worship without state permission. I mean, how ludicrous can this be that they meet in a home, they pick up these older men and say, look, we're going to fine you, and this will possibly destroy you financially. It's an outrage, but Kazakhstan was part of the Soviet Union. It's now in Central Asia, and it's a country where there is an awful lot of persecution against believers.
Well, let me just say to our viewers and listeners, you can go to assistnews.net, and this is just a sample of some of the stories that Dan has there, and will send to you via email multiple stories throughout the day so you can keep updated. It certainly keeps you in tune with some of the price that some believers are paying for their faith around the world, as he gives you updates from all over the world. Again, assistnews.net. It's free, and let them know that you hear them and see them and watch them on the Dove, and please support them when you're there at the website. Thank you, Dan. Good to see you, friend.
Lovely. Thank you, Perry. God bless.
God bless. All right, Dan Wooding, who heads up Assist News. It's a remarkable service. I probably get 6 to 8 emails a day.
Yeah.
Stories from all over the world.